Yeah.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Been a long time coming, man.
Man,
We've been working on this album, and
for way too long, man. It's overdue.
it's been ready for a minute, but now it's time to unleash it. So, welcome to Top Rank Studio.
Thank you. It's the first time being in this top ranked studio, so
It's
you know what I'm saying?
the first rendition of many I foresee upgrading, but this is going to be
It's
on
nice.
the Top Rank Studio. Appreciate you coming by.
For sure, man. I appreciate you, you know what I'm saying, calling me in here to set the record straight, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to call the show.
love.
You just named the show. Set the record straight.
Set the record.
Boom. Like, see?
Yeah.
Now you just got...
It's gold.
You
Everything
just have to give you 10% for naming rights right there.
Yeah, man. Just give me some Sonic.
I got you.
No, yeah,
we'll
for
go
sure.
right after this for naming the show.
Alright.
So tell me what's the album called?
It's called Window Pane. It's kind of self-explanatory. I named it Window Pane because I felt like everything that I was going through at the time, everything I was feeling, ended up being on one track or the other. You know what I'm saying? Whether or not it was relationships or death in the family or whatever the case. Some stuff I was going through within myself, some stuff I saw other people going through. So this EP or this album was really a chance for me to let my fans into, you know what I'm saying, my process, like what I'm, how I make music. I don't like to just make anything, it has to be some type of substance or some type of reason. So Window Pane is you can see right through it.
Yeah, I had the luxury of being right there and help you make this.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be one of the few episodes I get to do where I got to be there for the whole thing, and it wasn't even like anything we planned. We just kind of sat down and you just started pouring your heart out, and we were going through some sounds and some samples, and I mean, if I remember right, it just started with the intro with those like real solemn keys, and I was like, let me work, and all of a sudden you had, I mean, before I could even like get the drums laid out, you had the first verse. Like,
bro, that whole recording this project, bro, with you was crazy. It was really crazy because when we say it how it truthfully happened, it sounds like an exaggeration, but real life knocked it out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we just flowed. The magic was there from the time I stepped into the studio to the time we finally finished the last, you know what I mean? Like,
we had no excuse for waiting this long to get rid of it and get it out there, because we had like, it was at like 90% when we left.
Yeah.
First weekend, and we just had these finishing touches, and life gets in the way sometimes. But I think it was good to give it time to breathe as well. So
for sure.
This is a tradition that we've done with Beat Console. Solo releases. Unfortunately, we've only had like 2 of them with Tommy Conquest. Armand just snuck a project out underneath our noses there. So I'll get him in here for one of these soon. But this is something that Rob would sit and do, and I wanted to sit and do this too and carry this on and kind of go through track by track and just kind of tap into your vibes that you put out onto the record. So let's talk about the first track. Like, it's called Time. Why don't you tell us where your head was at with that one?
Time. Honestly, I started the track. The first thing I said on the track, said my homie's grandmother died today, and that was real life. I didn't know what to do. We were sitting there. He was hurting. He was sad, and only thing I could think of to do was just, I smoked with him. He was my best friend, so I knew I had to be there.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily know what I was supposed to be doing.
Right.
So I smoked with him, and I just, tried to show him that he wasn't by himself. And then within that time of us sitting there just smoking, listening to instrumentals, he likes to listen to jazz.
Yeah.
So we were listening to jazz, and I just pulled my phone out and started writing. And it started off like that. I just me having something to do, and it really went into started thinking about a lot of other people that were going through stuff and what they were going through, whether or not I was there to witness their situations or not. You know what I mean? I just started thinking of, wow, everybody's going through life right now. Life isn't always the best.
No, it's definitely not.
So ended up naming it Time. Not necessarily about a clock, but more or less time. Like life, it passes you by. So many different things can happen to you. You know what I mean? So many different situations, good and bad. But it's all about trying to figure it out and taking that time to learn. For sure.
Yeah, and that was one of a couple records that you actually already had words, and you gave me the challenge of taking words and putting a beat to them.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's ever like I've done this a million times. It's never worked out that bad.
Man,
that well. Like,
you definitely snapped. I remember first hearing those. Ding, 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 ding. Right. You know what I'm saying? I was, go ahead then. You feel me? You definitely you took the vibe and you matched up perfectly, man. Like I said, that the whole time we were recording, like the magic was real, bro. It was just meant to happen that way.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Speaking of magic, let's go to the second track. It's called FYI.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta tell this story about. So we recorded at my mom's old house. She hadn't sold it yet. There's literally nothing to do there but work on music.
Yeah.
No internet, no nothing. We set up with the computer sitting in a bay window.
Yeah.
It just worked. Nothing else to do. It was perfect. But Hesh is on the second record. It's a good friend of ours, Jazz Jutley.
Yeah.
And
Mr. Jazz Jutley.
Tell the audience, your experience. He just came in and
just laid it down, like, you know what I mean? One take, bro. Like as if like I can't even, I don't even know. He went in there and he caught the vibe instantly and just
one take.
You
know why he did that, right?
Drake, huh?
It's because I told him he wasn't a rapper.
Yeah.
And he went in there and bro, I've heard many people compare his style and flow on that to J. Cole, which is like him and Kendrick. If you compared to one of those two, that's like,
oh man, that's
maximum praise.
I was gonna say it don't get no greater than that, and it's a real comparison. Like, it honestly, when you listen to it, it does give you a J. Cole feel. You know what I'm saying? 100%. J. Cole vibe. You know what I mean? With the not just the sound of his voice, but the what he was saying. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the energy he was putting towards.
Right.
He believed what he was saying.
Yeah. And
it was crazy because that track, the way the track came about was basically the same way he recorded it. Because he came into the crib. I'm sitting there writing. You know, seeing our mom sitting there or whatever. We sitting there listening to instrumentals. I'm sitting there writing. He walked through the door. He was like, "Yo, that's hot." That's all he needed. Like, that's all he needed. Just went to work. Yeah. Man. And he definitely put his touch on it. And R.I.P. Rob. Rob said he killed me.
I wasn't gonna bring it up.
It's all right. I mean,
it was kind of like he went in there and dunked from the free throw line, but you put up 50, had a triple double. Y'all both did your thing. I'm not here to.
But he got that highlight dunk,
right,
with the poster.
But
he definitely did his thing, man. I ain't got a bad feeling in my bone about it. He did his thing, man. And honestly, I don't think it would be the same track without him.
No, I think the contrast is amazing.
Yeah, he definitely, and to be the only feature. Yeah. On the whole.
You almost went J. Cole yourself.
Almost did. I almost did.
You almost went J. Cole yourself. No
features.
But that for all features.
Yeah. If you know what I'm saying, if I'm gonna have one, that was the one I needed.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when we finished up the first round of recording, I couldn't even put into words to everybody else in Beat Council how I knew we had something. Instantly, I was like, man, this is a crazy project. And I was like, and the only feature on it is Hesh, and none of y'all could outdo it.
Yeah.
None of y'all could outdo it. There's no way.
Love all of y'all, man. He put that You know what I'm saying? Like, he went crazy. You know, one love. Oh, right. He did his thing. It had to be him. I tell him that all the time. I just told him that last time I seen him, because, you know, he's in Georgia right now doing his thing. So, last time I seen him, he was up here, and I told him, I said, we were listening to it. Yeah. We were listening to it, and I said, bro, you know it had to be you, bro. Like, I can't see it going no other way, bro. It had to be you.
Nah, nobody else was meant for that track.
Nah, man, he snapped, man. You know, he it's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite tracks.
It's strong for sure. So like, when I listened to, you know, that was one of the few tracks that was ready before we started the process. Where was your headspace when you were writing? I mean, you really kind of dipped in and out of flows and sang and rapped and it really like.
Man,
you did it so flawlessly too. Where was your headspace on writing that?
Honestly, I at that time that I wrote that that, you know, when we had started working on this project, at that time that song had been written, I was kind of just going through a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And J. Cole, you know, I'm gonna bring him up again. He's one of my all-time favorite artists, and I used to, you know, look for J. Cole type of beats. You know what I'm saying? And when I heard the beat, I was like, yo, this is ill. Man, like, this is ridiculous. But I can't just say anything on this. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta. You know what I mean? So that's one of those tracks where I actually had to find the inspiration, and I had to think about it. You know what I'm saying? And it just ended up flowing the way that it did. Because, you know, as I was saying before, you know, this project, Window Pane, was to show what I was going through and all the emotions that I was going through. And sometimes music is the only outlet, you know. Yeah. Regardless of, you know, I got a whole Beat Council family, you know what I'm saying? But at that time, I had to lean on me, you know what I mean? And so, with the rest of these tracks, it was real mental. With this one, it was like, yo, I feel this beat. Yeah. And I want to say something that means something. Yeah. And so, you know, I threw in, you know, stuff about, you know, if you listen to the second verse, majority of that, you know, is basically trying to lead whoever's listening to it, you know what I'm saying, to understand that, you know what I'm saying, our people have kind of been, have been oppressed, you know what I'm saying, held down to the maximum, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like, I one of the lines I said, wealth of the darker tone is said to come from a prism. Yeah. And, like, it doesn't always gotta be Illuminati. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, sometimes people work hard. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just wanted to be able to say something that not only made sense, but would make you think, you know what I'm saying, and hopefully help you onto a greater path. You know? Yeah. For sure.
I think what's great about that project is, like, I've been listening to this for 2 years now. Like, it's always on my phone. I listen to it. And like, every time I listen, I catch a new bar. And that one I never caught. So that's, like, it didn't register. Yeah. Now I'm like, that's low. and, you know, to go back to Rob had the utmost respect for your pen game, bro. Like, crazy. Like, if you asked him, like, you know, he would tell you whose pen game was the strongest. You know, he'd say his. Yeah. You know, yeah, for sure. If it was like, okay, who's a runner up, bro? He put your pen next to his, bro. And I think there's just times where, like, he would pick up your references right away. And I remember, I won't name the name. We were listening to this project, and no, we were listening to Stuck in My Ways. Uh-huh. And somebody was trying to, you know, act like it wasn't a hard verse, and Rob literally dissected on the spot the entire verse and was like, yeah, but did you pick up this? And then he did this, and then he referenced this. Do you know where this came from? You're just like, where this came from? Man. And then, like, the person that said it was speechless, had nothing else to say. So, yeah, no, he not only would, you know, real recognizes real, for lack of a better term on that. Man. I just want to make sure, I think we switched up the track list a little. No, we didn't. No Love Lost. So this one actually predates everything else on And it goes back to when we were at the studio on the east side. And were you there when I made the beat, or was that something that like... I
don't remember if I was there when you made the beat, but I definitely remember switching it up. We switched it up a couple of times.
Yeah, we laid it out differently a few times, but like I didn't hear anybody else on it when I made it. And
no,
it was one of those, like, you get as a producer, as an artist, you know, you get those pockets where you're just like, man, everything you put your hands on just like is like hitting, you're heating up.
Yeah,
and that was probably like the third or fourth beat I made in about 2 hours, and it was just like, everybody in the room was like, man, that's the one. And yeah, I heard Nobody But You on that one, and when you came in, it instantly caught you, which was like,
yeah, it definitely. I do. I remember I remember looking at my phone like, yo, I know exactly what to put to this. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it just ended up matching perfectly again. Like, like every track that you, because the only other person that worked on was Rob, and then I've got to credit Lucid Sounds. Yeah. For FYI, but it was you smashed the whole thing, like, top to bottom. It was everything we listened to, everything we thought about. It just was like, yo, that's perfect. Let's try it. It just hit, bro. Yeah. It just hit from intro to outro. You know. There's times when you get in the studio and you think it's that, and it's not so often. That time, like, it's just I've never had it just like click and then like live well. You know, we lived with this album for way longer than we should have. But you know, I mean, things happen, life happens. You know what I mean? And, you know, sometimes you gotta find that inspiration again. And really, that we sat on it because we had to, not even because we wanted to. But you know, everything happens for a reason, and there's no better time than now. Yeah. You know, but so, with no love. Yeah, like, so I want to ask you a couple questions on that record, because that record resonates with me. It resonated with a couple friends of ours that got to hear it way before. And it hit some people in the chest, you know, in a good way, in a weird way, you know, explain, like, so when you listen to this record, like No Love Lost, you say, you know, that was the other me. Like, it's like not being able to love the same after you've been crushed. Yeah. That's kind of what I took out of it, but like, you know, tell me where your head was at on that one. That's exactly where my head was. I was hurting, man. Me and my lady were going through it at the time. You know, we've been together for a while. You know, she's got my kids and whatnot. And so at that point in time, I was basically like, man, listen, I ain't feeling. I'm not trying to love nobody else. It's not gonna happen. You know what I mean? I'm tired. I'm hurt. You know what I mean? I just can't see myself actually loving somebody. And it was crazy because, man, I still, even me, it's my track. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and I listen to it all the time, and I'd be like, yo. Like, yo, you was on the money. Like, your life. Yeah. It was just one of them. Very relatable. Yeah, man. I feel like everyone's been through a heartbreak, even if maybe not as major or prominent as I thought mine was. You know, everyone's been hurt in some fashion when it comes to romantic relationships, and so I feel like that saying right there, like that was the other me, man. Like, I don't want to call it a hoe phase. You know what I mean? But people go through that. They get to that point where they be like, you know, I ain't trying to love nothing. I'm just here. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's happening? You know what I mean? Like, there's always that one relationship you just don't think you're ever going to get over. You know, and you either make it right or you do get over it. You know? Yeah. Like, you know, a good friend of ours, Jay Novel, Jesse Booker. Yeah. He literally said it like brought him to tears when he listened to that. Man, that was love. That was honestly one of the greatest compliments I've ever gotten musically. Yeah, he is one of your biggest fans. Yeah. So, and I think that took him from, like, you know, My City, he was like, man, die. Then he heard that, he's like, oh man. Yeah. It just added a whole dimension for him as a fan. Shout out Jay Book, man. He always showed love for show.
He'll tell you what it is, man.
He's super honest. Yeah, he's super honest. But it's crazy to the point now, like you said, like we've been listening to this for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I'll go on my Facebook memories and it's a video of Jay Book in his car, like listening to it.
Like, if there's a fan club to ever be started.
Yeah,
Jesse's going to be the
VP of operations or something. Like.
He's gonna run that.
For sure.
So moving on to Bad Timing. Bad Timing was a record by Top Rank, Rob Torres.
And White Rhino.
The first time we brought that record to him, he was actually kind of disappointed because it wasn't a full record, and he felt like, he wanted more from you out of that one. Speak to the fans, actually, not me. Where did your head go after he sent you back to that record?
I agreed with him, but I loved the first verse so much that I was like, yo, if I write this second verse, I don't think it's gonna be up to par. You know what I mean? Like, not saying that I doubted my own pen, but sometimes you write something and it's just like, oh my God, don't touch that. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so I felt it. I felt that first verse so much. So with the second verse, when he sent me back to finish it, that second verse, I started off trying to mimic what I was doing on the first verse. You know what I mean? You hit it right on the nose. I live my responses in practice. I'm drawing a face with my words. You know what I mean? I drew a face. So that second verse is the body.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I felt like I had to take it there, and then I kind of just, I don't know, man. I just let it go, and it ended up being better than I expected.
Yeah.
It ended up being better than I expected. I love that. I love that song in general. The beat, the everything, and like it was crazy because he sent me back, and we had already recorded it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I loved the way it was recorded. Like I loved how it sounded. I loved the ad-libs. I loved everything. Then he sent me back, and then we ended up re-recording it, and I wasn't as in love with it. Like, it don't sound the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't say the way I was. You know what I'm saying? Like,
when you redo things, it doesn't always have that same energy.
Right, but it ended up still, it's one of my favorite tracks on that. Excuse me, it's one of my favorite tracks on the project. If you were to ask me what my favorite track on the project is, it depends on the day.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Sometimes the intro, outro, sometimes Bad Timing, sometimes
FYI,
it's it floats around.
Yeah, for sure.
And actually, like he felt like we had just like went off and conquered the universe after the first session, and I sat down and played him the whole thing, and he was just like,
yeah, man,
that's it.
Yeah, I
was ready to fight him, like,
yo,
and that would not have been a good idea. Rob was not to
he wasn't nothing to be playing with.
But I was gonna hit him and take the medicine. I was mad, bro. I think that's the maddest I've ever been at him.
Man, because and he was, and the crazy thing is, everything he was saying, like it wasn't wrong. It wasn't wrong. It was just like we was feeling ourselves.
Yeah. Exactly. But that's the type of people you need in your circle.
Yeah.
And he challenged everybody's pen. Like, nah, you can write some harder than that. You can go harder.
He made me a better writer. Yeah. He made me a better singer. As far as music goes, it's crazy because I thought I was dope.
Yeah.
I thought I was nice. Like I'm thinking I'm, you know what I'm saying, top 5 everywhere I go. You feel me? And then I met Rob.
Humbling experience for me as well on that. But yeah, tell me about meeting him.
Oh man, I met Rob. First off, I did a freestyle on Facebook from my brother and Jesse. They're actually both named Jesse, but Jesse Booker and my brother, they were trying to get me to do this. Freestyle. So I do this freestyle video, whatever the case is, and Keandre heard it.
Yeah.
Keandre hears it. He's like, "Damn, you snapped!" Like, whoa, you went crazy. So I end up meeting Keandre, Rune, and Hesh all on the same day.
Yeah.
They wanted to meet me, so I see them in the studio. I meet him in the studio, and he's like, "Yeah, we know you can rap, but we heard you can sing."
Yeah.
So I sung for him, and they're like, "Damn, you can sing,
Right.
You got to meet Rob."
Yeah.
So long story short, I meet Rob first day. I go to his house. You already know how it is. And everybody hearing this, you already know how Rob is. You know, you go to the crib. He got some food and some coffee.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We went to the studio. It's
he sugarcoats you before he humbles you.
Yeah, for sure.
And even when he humbles you, it's like it's still polite, but it's blunt at the same time.
I'm the GOAT, but like you ain't gotta say it, but you know it. Like for sure, drink your coffee. Like for sure, that's how it was. And he made a beat in front of me in like 5 minutes.
Yep.
From scratch.
Yeah.
Completely set me off. Like wow. And ever since that first day, man, it's been nothing but love. It was nothing but love. He taught me, you know, even outside of the studio, man, he taught me life lessons. You know,
facts.
How to be a better man, how to be a better father. But how to be a better musician. He showed me things about my own talents that I didn't even understand.